guys so much for coming. I know that this isn't really the weather you want to drive in to come to a presentation that you don't have to be at, but I'm glad you are here. How many of you are familiar with ListHub? So very few. So then I would assume most of you have no idea what we do or why I'm here. So I'm glad I'm here today. We're going to go over a lot of material. The presentation for agents usually lasts about 40 minutes, but I'm going to try to whip through it so we have lots of time for questions at the end. And like I said, it's really informal, so don't feel like you have to be quiet the whole time, because I like people talking. How many of you actually have ever spent money on advertising, whether it's print or online or anything at any time in this industry? Okay, majority of you. I feel like this quote, we always get to pick a quote that we start off with. I feel like it's probably hits home to a lot of you, but half the money I spend on advertising is wasted. The money, or the trouble is, I don't know which half. I'm sure a lot of you have spent a couple $100, maybe even $1,000 to advertising at some point or another, and really don't even know if you got a return on your investment. This is kind of the reason why I'm here today, but just, you know, it's something that kind of happens with all of us. So I'm introducing myself. I am Lauren. I am your account rep. So if you leave today, if you ask no questions right now, you have 50 questions later this evening when you are home cooking dinner, and you want to email me and ask me any questions, feel free to do so. Most all of you should have my business card on your chair. If you do not have one, let me know, and I can give you one after the presentation. If not, write down my information that's up there. So again, I want to welcome you. Sorry, my business attire today with my snow boots, but clearly I would rather be warm and comfortable than be freezing in my high heels. So I appreciate that I could be a little bit more casual today. So on the agenda, we're going to talk about ListHub, since majority of you have no idea what we do. We're also going to go over online marketing best practices, and then measuring your marketing with ListHub reports, and that's the handout that I gave you too. So I'm really going to educate you on what your MLS and brokerage is offering you, or what you could be offered, and then the added bonuses that or benefits that you can have as an agent in this industry. How ListHub works. You guys all put your listings in the MLS. You know, you enter all that data in, those listings become live and active, and they get pushed into the ListHub dashboard. From the ListHub dashboard, that is when we then send it or syndicate it out to Zillow, Trulia, Realtor.com, Homes.com, etc. Does everyone know what syndication is? For the most part, it's basically sending your listings to all these real estate websites. So this is how we kind of connect everything. A lot of you have probably spent excuse me, time and money hand entering listings into Zillow or Trulia, or spending maybe some money to get an IDX feed to even listing it directly to Zillow and Trulia. This is a pretty seamless, effortless way to get your listings, because you already have to enter them into the MLS. Then after that, you don't have to do anything else. Once that listing becomes active and live, we send it to all these sites. Zillow, like I said, Zillow, Trulia, Yahoo Homes, etc. The dashboard is created by your broker. So if your managing broker or broker owner does not have this, they have to create an account. It's free. A lot of these slides that I'm going to go through in probably the first 10 or 15 is all free for you guys. So all you have to do is opt into it. Do any of you know if your brokerage already has this, that you're already sending your listings out via ListHub? No idea? Or no? Yes, okay. So this is something that I'd ask your broker. If this is something that you think that your broker would be interested in, and they weren't in my previous session, then this is something that I would probably present to them as well. We update all these sites up to 4 times a day. So if you make a price reduction, or add more photos, or put more information into the remarks, or the house actually goes under contract, we update that on all the sites for you. So all of your listings will be accurate and up to date on all these websites. Does the process of how your listings get from the MLS to these sites make sense? So all these sites, I have a lot of head nods, so you guys are paying attention for now at least. So all these sites have agreements with us, and I'll go over these agreements in a little bit. But because we are the largest provider of listings to all these websites, Zillow, Trulia, Homes.com, etc., they are sending back all these metrics. So actually being able to track all the traffic your listings are getting, where these online consumers are located, how many leads you're getting, we're getting all that information sent back to us. And I will show you in the middle of this presentation how you can get that data. We are partnered up with over 60 publishers with an extended network of up to 900 websites. What that means, and I used this example in the previous presentation, Home Finder, they power a lot of real estate sections on newspaper and magazine, like their online versions of it. For example, like Chicago Tribune, you go to their real estate section, the Las Vegas Review Journal, you go to their real estate section, it's actually powered by Home Finder. So if I'm an avid reader of the newspaper and I'm interested in, purchasing a property and I'm like, oh, real estate section, let's see what's for sale. And I type in that I'm looking for 3-bedroom, 3-bath, attached garage, this area, etc. And it, gives me 60 listings within a zip code. It's actually being powered by Home Finder, rather than just, Las Vegas Review Journal or the ChicagoTribune.com. It's actually being powered by one of these websites. So if you are syndicating, or your brokerage is syndicating their listings to all of the publishers that we offer, you have the exposure, the capability to have exposure on up to 900 websites. So we're talking about a lot of websites. So does that make sense too? So like I was saying is we syndicate your listings to all these sites for you, but the reason why we are an option is because we wanted to offer our brokerages and agents something a little bit more than you guys can get on your own. We have terms of use with all of these publishers. Excuse me, with all these publishers. So for example, this is Zillow, this is Zillow that we're looking at. Our terms of use for them, we're actually protecting your listings far beyond than what you can protect your listings. A lot of the times agents will go in there, hand enter your listings, put your information, but there is a 50-50 chance that you're not going to get your lead. So if I see one of your listings that you hand entered on Zillow, Zillow has every right under their terms and contracts with themselves to say, you know what, they got a lead, but I'm actually going to sell this other agent who pays $100 a month. With ListHub, they can't do that. I'll show you an example. Here are some ListHub rules that we trump with terms of use. Publishers must update site at least daily. If you guys are sending your listings out, via an IDX feed, or maybe you have an agent website, Zillow has no contract with you guys to say we have to update that when you update it. With us, they do. And with Zillow and Trulia and Homes.com and Home Finder, under their contract, they have to update it 4 times a day. Listing data may only be used for consumer display. They can't take all the information, all the data that we send them to use to their benefit, to use that information to give to sell them to their information. Like, okay, so these brokerages in this area have these listings. They're priced at this much. This is how many leads they're getting. They can't give any of that data that we're collecting to another brokerage because you own it. Another one, listing data may not be used after it is off the market. If you are sending your listing to Zillow or hand entering it some other way, they're going to call you and they're going to ask you how much that listing sold for. They might, if they have a direct IDX feed, they're going to be able to see exactly how much that listing sold for. When we're sending your listing, they have no idea. Once that listing goes off the market, we take it off their website and they can't use that data to benefit them. So really, like I say, with ListHub, the rules and regulations that we have, since we are the largest provider of listings to them, is to protect you guys. We want to make sure that they're not going to take advantage of you and call you and say, well, you can't have more than 5 photos because you're not paying us any money, or you can't get your lead because you're not a preferred agent, or we don't put your phone number on there because, quite honestly, it's anyone's listing at that point. They have to follow these rules and regulations because if they don't, we'll drop them. And like I said, we're the largest provider of listings, so they do not want to drop us because we're connected to 90% of the MLSs, so 90% of their inventory would be gone in seconds if they decided to cross ListHub and not follow our guidelines. So this is we always try to educate because I feel like a lot of people don't really understand why we're connected with these brokerages or with these publishers and why there's even a benefit to opt into us, but these are some of the other reasons to do that. So most importantly too, the second to last one, publishers must route any consumer leads to the email address designated by the broker as a lead email address. When we send your listings to Zillow, I'm going to probably use Zillow for the example today, and we have your email address tied to that listing. By contract, Zillow has to send you that lead instantly. Zillow's not going to keep it, we're not going to keep it, they can't sell it back to you, they can't give it to anyone else. If for some reason you have a listing and you're like, this is really odd, I know we're syndicating it via ListHub, we get no leads on it, I wonder if this is an issue, you call us and say, hey, this house has been on the market for 4 months. I've gotten no emails about it. I get some phone calls, but I get no emails about it. Can you look into it? And if we look into it and see that they sold back your leads or they're not sending you your leads, then that's an issue and we'll take care of it. So That's something that we offer. Does that all make sense, our terms and conditions, rather than if you guys just opt into doing it yourself?
Does that happen often, where you have to look into it?
No, I mean, quite honestly, I've been with the company for like over 6 months, and I've been in this industry. I actually grew up in this industry. I've never had anyone call me and complain about that. I'm gonna go over some reporting as well here in a little bit that's added benefits or bonuses to this account, and usually everyone can track their leads. So if they see, okay, for this listing I got 10 leads in the last month and I've gotten 10 emails, that makes sense. But I've never had someone call me and say, Lauren, you know what's going on? My reports, I see that I have 10 emails or inquiries, but I don't have any inquiries or emails in my mailbox, so.
Lauren?
Yes.
Is ListHub the exclusive provider for, let's say, Zillow or any of these? And what I'm getting at is, so when we have consumers that go on Zillow and can look up all of the sold data, which ListHub does not provide,
Correct.
are they pulling it from somewhere else, even though they are a member of ListHub, and are they allowed to do that?
You were talking about the sold data?
Well, specifically now, but anything really. I mean, does Zillow only get their information from ListHub, or do they pull it from all kinds of sources? And when they pull it from other sources, they can use it how they want.
Correct. Other sources, you're not protected.
Okay.
ListHub, you're protected. A lot of the times, people will not opt into Zillow or not into ListHub and may not even know about us, and so they might manually enter the listings. You guys aren't protected by us when you manually enter the listings. A lot of the times, if you guys, there's some brokerages that send direct IDX feeds, or they pay another third-party company to say, hey, here are my listings, can you feed these to Zillow, Trulia, and Homes.com. Their terms and conditions aren't going to protect you like we do either. So if they have access to sold data, they have access and they can utilize it. So if you list or send your listings via us, they don't get that sold data. A lot of times too, Zillow and Trulia.
But it can be out there.
It can
based
be
on
out
other
there.
sources.
I mean, sometimes too, I have a lot of brokerages that will say, with Zillow, I see that I have some of my old listings from like 4 or 5, 6 years ago, which is a slide I'll go over here. I think it's my next one, actually, there it is. The inaccuracy issue. A lot of times I have brokerages that say, oh, I signed up for a virtual tour company and I had like a free 90-day trial, and I gave them my IDX feed and they had all these listings, and I had like 80 listings in my inventory then, and then they said, okay, then after the trial I didn't use it anymore. Well, they still have all that data. So Zillow and Trulia are like, well, just keep it on our website so we have more listings, and it's inaccurate, but we have more data, and then we actually have the sold data from those properties, so let's use that to our benefit to use estimates and to do other stuff. So with ListHub, we provide you the protection to all of that. And the other thing that we protect you with is the accuracy issue. Like I said, we're pulling from the MLS up to 4 times a day, so your listings are as accurate as they can possibly be. In a year ago, January 2013, we sent over 74 million listings in 1 month, and only 56 of them were labeled accuracy issues. A lot of the times it's data, it's technology. I mean, it doesn't always work. So those 56 support cases were typically figured out, unless it was super complex, within 48 hours. It could be a disconnect between us and the MLS. It could be something in the data field that just got scrambled with all the other technology, words that go in there, and the connection between us and Zillow is disconnected. So we find out the source of the root of the problem and we fix it for you guys. This is another thing that with ListHub, we are, protecting you in the sense that if your listings are out there inaccurately now, this is going to clean it up. How that works is when we syndicate your listing to Zillow, and I use Zillow a lot just because I know everyone uses it and knows it and probably gets a lot of leads from it. But this is true for every case. When we send a listing to Zillow, say it's an active listing that you guys just entered into the MLS yesterday, and for some reason you see the exact same listing for sale, but it's a different price, it's been on the market for 2 years, maybe an agent had it 2 years ago and hand entered the listing and never said it was sold, or and then it transferred over to you, or maybe they took it off the market for a little bit. They never updated it, that listing is still technically for sale on Zillow. When Zillow sees that there's duplicates or there's triple or quadruple, however more, they see, okay, this is the ListHub data. We know this is the active, accurate listing, so we're going to get rid of all these inaccurate ones. So it's like killing a weed. So as you have more accurate listings that go in, if there's duplicates, so I know, I'm not sure, I'm assuming a lot of you have probably gotten some phone calls on listings that aren't on the market anymore, or are completely price strong, I mean, great, that's awesome, you can close them, you can get them, say, oh, well, that listing actually is on the market. However, I have one that's just like it, so you can actually benefit from those calls as well, but I'd rather you guys have a call on a lead of a property that actually is active, that they are interested, that you can show them instantaneously, so. Does that make sense? Perfect. You guys are a really good group so far. A little bit about the ListHub network. We are partnered up with over 450 MLSs. Since this slide actually was made, we I think about 40. We added 40 MLSs. We grow about 6 to 7 MLSs a month on average. I'm pretty sure at this point we are connected to 90% of all the MLSs here in the U.S. So we have a really good following with these MLSs, believing that this is the option, or wanting to give the option to brokerages that this is the option that you guys should choose to syndicate your listings. Like I said, we have over 60 national publishing websites that we're contracted with. We send out over 2.5 million listings a day, and we have, or work with and partner with over 48,000 brokers, so brokerages here in the U.S. as well. And then in conclusion, we are, getting terabytes of consumer traffic. I usually ask what a terabyte is. A lot of times people don't know, but it is a small amount of data that we are tracking, and we are tracking a lot of data. So between all the listings that we send out, the brokerages we're a part of, all the MLSs, all the data that we get from those MLSs, we're tracking all this information clear across the board on all 60 plus of these publishers. Are any of you guys a part of any of these franchises listed below? If you want to see wait after the presentation, not teacher. We work a little bit differently with these brands. They just partnered up with us. Just for example, do I have Coldwell Banker in here at all? Okay. With Coldwell Banker, you're gonna access these reports a little bit different. You go to coldwellbankerworks.com and you log into your ListHub account that way. With these franchises, they've already pre-selected what sites you're going to be syndicating to, and right now as we speak, your listings are being syndicated to Zillow via Crest rather than the MLS. So just a little bit of different. I know some of you are probably like, what is she talking about if you're not a part of these franchises? But if you are, just stay a little bit after, and I can kind of just debrief you a little bit on it too. So do I have any Century 21s in here? You guys already have all this stuff, so this will be educational for you guys. So, but of course, stay after too, because I'll talk to you guys about Century 21. It's under the Golden Ruler. Are you guys familiar with that? Okay. So I could stand up here and talk about, getting your accurate listings showcased, on these websites. But really, I think the most important thing is the leads, because those are the phone calls and the emails that you guys get. And therefore, those are when you actually get houses sold. In September 2012, we sent out over 690,000 leads directly to our customers. Like I said, when we get these leads in, they're going directly to you. We track them. We know that you guys got a lead or an inquiry, but we're not keeping it, or we're not keeping the email or using that data for our benefit. And Zillow and these sites can't use it either. I mean, they're tracking it as well, knowing that you got an inquiry, but. If we jump down a little bit, in March 2013, we sent out almost 1 million leads. We sent out a survey, I think it was November, in response to October, asking how many leads did we send out in October alone to our ListHub clients. We got a whole range of numbers, and it was over 3 million. So our leads, it's not a slow increase, it is straight up shooter that we're getting these leads directly to you guys. I think the many reasons why you're getting these leads is because your listings are accurate. More people are opting into syndicating their listings, so all of your listings are getting on there. Consumers aren't being confused, seeing 2 listings listed at 2 different prices, and they don't know who to call, so they call the wrong agent, so you don't get the lead. Because we're cleaning up that inaccuracy issue, I think this is another reason why we're seeing this increase as well, so.
I have a question.
Yes.
Is it ListHub that's sending you the lead, or is it Zillow through
Zillow.
ListHub? So
Zillow,
it's not, so we're not, ListHub as an entity is not sending out leads.
No, we're just the middleman. We're
Right.
getting your listings to you, and then we're tracking all the traffic, and then
Okay.
we're giving you the capability to fall into our rules and regulations to make sure
Right.
you get that lead.
Okay.
The reason we don't say it comes from ListHub, because we want you to know where the lead came from. A lot of the times if you say, oh, Zillow is a big heavy hitter here, but I actually get more emails from Trulia than I do Zillow. Well, then clearly if you're an agent looking to spend some marketing dollars for 2014, probably better for you to spend it on Trulia than on Zillow, because that's where you're getting a lot of your leads from. So that's why I want to make sure that you guys know where it's coming from too. So, Just to kind of give you some statistics from the National Association of Realtors, 90% of home buyers use the internet to search the home. So pretty much, and I'm sure this number is constantly going to be growing. This is just telling you why it's so important to get your listings online, and most importantly, to get them there accurately. 91% of buyers who use the internet purchase their home through an agent. So I have in agent presentations, a lot of the times I will have someone say, if I'm syndicating my listings and it's all accurate and they have all this information, like why do they even call me? Like they can just take all this information and show up to the house on the open house or find another agent. Well, that's not the case, because these people still need someone to be the negotiator, to hold their hand throughout this process, to educate them on the process, especially first-time home buyers. So, you know, the more likely that you get your listings out there and get out there accurately, and these online consumers are looking for them, they're still going to need you. And then, of course, 47% of consumers found the home they purchased online. I had a broker in the previous presentation that was like really confused about that statistic. But I think it's really important, because it's just saying that about half of the people who call you after finding one of your properties online, half of them usually either buy that property or buy another property that they show you that they found online as well. This might not be the case for some of you. You might say, well, I get leads from online, but they never buy the house they actually call me on. This is just kind of a general, you know, NAR said let's just get a percentage and see. So just making sure that's clear, because I know like in the last presentation people were a little confused. How many of you do like print media or print advertising? Newspaper, magazine, mail drop, anything like that? I don't want to, hound on these percentages too much. It's kind of just a little eye opener. 1% of consumers found the home they purchased in a newspaper, but 27% of agents still advertise in newspapers. 0% found their home in a real estate magazine. 21% of agents still advertise in real estate magazines. Again, this is not catered to just you guys as well. I actually made a big boo-boo and went to a presentation where an MLS has their own real estate magazine, and they're very, very proud of it, and they were very upset with this number, and I said I did not make it up, I got this percentage. In some cases it works. I mean, quite honestly, I travel pretty much all over, from the smallest, like Marshall, Missouri. I mean, man, if you huffed and puffed a little too much to their little MLS there, it would have fallen over. So, but they're all about advertising in the newspaper. So it just depends. This is just showing you that I'm sure you guys have all seen it. There is a curve in advertising. Slowly but surely, it's all going to be online, where it's going to not be we'd rather be spending your marketing dollars online than on print media. Mobile applications. Have any of you guys, just out of curiosity, gotten a lead or a phone call saying, hey, I found your listing. I was like on Realtor.com's mobile app, and I called you directly from it? Some of you, I see some head shakes. Okay. You're probably going to see this a lot this year, and it's going to probably increase month to month. These mobile applications are becoming smarter. I actually had an agent show me a mobile app where you take a picture of the front of the house, it scans the front of the house, it finds out where it's for sale, and it pops it up for you. That's all you have to do. So you can be really creepy, standing outside a house that's for sale, just click it, take a picture, and it scans it. So that's just how technology is changing. Has anyone heard of or used the app called My New Home? Chase Bank, I think it launched maybe 6 months ago. Well, what they did is they said, okay, instead of spending like $50,000 on building a website and then getting the manpower behind it to do all the technology stuff and to make sure we get all the listings there and become a publisher and pay money for all these listings, let's just spend our money on a mobile app. So they skipped a website altogether and just created a mobile app. More than 50% of all the traffic on Zillow, Realtor.com, and on Trulia on the weekends is on mobile apps. So they are starting to see that they get more traffic on the mobile applications on the weekends than they do the website, like online on your computer. Maybe because now it's easier just to take your mobile app, drive with your husband, your fiance, whoever, your best friend, and look at homes. I do it all the time. Sometimes when I'm driving, probably not the best thing, but you're going to see this more than ever. If you guys do spend any money advertising with Zillow, Trulia, Realtor.com, or thinking about it, and they talk about the advertising packages they get, I would probably also ask, as a rule of thumb, to say, what am I going to get in this package for advertising on your mobile application? Because you're going to see this spike as well. And it's also, I saw a report not too long ago that, I think it was on CNN, that it's projected that most mobile applications, not just in the real estate industry, are gonna be used more than websites. So, I did it too. I bought my dad a grill for Christmas and I bought it off the Home Depot app rather than going to HomeDepot.com and ordering it. So, you're just gonna see that shift, so. Any questions about syndication, anything at all, how we get your listings, accuracy, protection, anything? Okay, must be doing a good job then. We're gonna go over some online marketing best practices. You know, we're syndicating your listings, but you know, if we're syndicating your listings, let's make sure that they look really pretty and they look good and they get the, you know, the leads that you want. So of course, I'm gonna go through some slides, but you know, the importance of quality photos, multiple photos, selling the neighborhood, you know, easy to understand information in the remarks, and then, you know, at the very end, I'll show you how to measure your results. So, quality photos, you know, your listing is more than like twice as likely to get, you know, more leads and more views if you have professional photos or like photos that look really, really nice and appealing. I know it's hard, yes.
Will there be attachments to those different sites that will truly where they can click on the attachment, pull up condition report, pull up virtual tours?
Yes.
That type of
If
thing?
you have a virtual tour that's connected, do you put your virtual tour or whatever into the MLS?
Yes.
We pull all that and we put that all onto the website. So the question was, if you guys have virtual tours, which is the majority of you probably do, if you put that link or, you know, that information into the remarks or wherever into your MLS, we pull that data and we send it to all these sites. Of course, some of the sites don't always support virtual tours, but the big ones do. Zillow, Trulia, those websites do. So, good question. I know that it's hard to have, you know, professional looking photos when it looks like this. If I was selling my home and you needed to take pictures, I mean, you probably don't see how pretty the green landscaping is. But you want to make sure that the photos that you do take paint a really good picture for the property. You know, so if I am this is my starter home and I'm looking to have children, I could see, okay, this is where I'm going to cook breakfast for my kids. Or I'm going to stand around that counter and have lots of wine with my girlfriend. So you want to just make sure that you can paint that picture for them. So use quality photos. I mean, I can't say that enough. I know you guys all know that, but I'm sure you've seen listings online where the photos are just horrific. So I always find this really interesting because I am totally the same. I will actually use my example, but I think this is from Yahoo Homes. I was looking for a rental property, not to buy, but I was looking for a rental property and I was just kind of interested in like looking. I'm a picture looker. And I think majority of everyone is, especially when you're, I mean, of course you want to make sure that it's the right price and square footage and it has the right amount of bedrooms and everything. But you want to make sure that this property that you are going to be living in is something that you actually want to live in. So you can see this first one, it says home for sale. There's one photo, but it has 3 beds, 4 baths. You know, maybe it's in my price range, I look at it, but there's one photo, so I'm not gonna click on it. It actually could be my dream home, but I have no idea because there's one photo, or maybe there's 2 photos. If you look down at the bottom, which I know probably none of you can see because it's super tiny, but this has 33 photos. I probably would just skim down and click 33 photos and look at the pictures, but that property is not even for sale. I probably check Zillow and Realtor.com and Trulia apps all the time. And sometimes I'll just look at properties like in Denver or Chicago or wherever just to see like, you know, the pricing market. And I so many times will see a property that actually looks legit, but it will have a picture of the front, an aerial view, and a map view, and that's it. And it's for sale. So I have no idea if the kitchen just looks really cruddy or if the bathroom is actually updated or if it doesn't even have a sink. I have no idea. So just make sure that not only quality but quantity of photos is important as well. Selling the neighborhood. You know, the quality of the neighborhood is a top factor influencing buyers. I know a lot of the MLSs have kind of rules and regulations that you have to abide by. You can't give too much information in the remarks. But if you can paint a picture of what it would be like to live there, you know, definitely do so. You know, within, you know, minutes drive to the best school district with the best high school, elementary school, grade school. You know, within minutes from these 2 freeways, you know, so people know it's easy to commute. You know, whatever you can kind of, you know, paint a picture. I don't know too much about this surrounding area, but if there is a great shopping district or, you know, maybe a strip mall that has lots and lots of restaurants and shopping and options and it's really close to say you are within minutes from, you know, this said, you know, shopping area. So use the remarks section to add details. Cause this information, like I said, whatever we send to Zillow and Trulia, they have to abide by our rules and regulations, and they have to showcase that. They can't just opt in to say, oh, we only want the first 2 sentences. They have to put everything that you put in the MLS. Also, a lot of the times, and I know all of you guys know this, just stay away from industry terms, because there's a lot of people that not in this industry that are looking for homes that have no idea, what something may mean. So just try to make sure that you spell out the words if there's abbreviations, or really clearly explain yourself. Also, be careful on your verbiage, where it says, like on this case, walk to shops in historic King Street. You just never know if potentially it's maybe an older couple that's moving to King Street and can't walk, and it won't be minutes, it might be hours, or maybe they might have to take a bus or something. So just be careful with your terminology. So also too, energy efficient appliances, windows, lighting, anything like that, put that in the remarks. A lot of the times I have seen a lot of my clients, and my mom is actually in this industry. She works for an MLS in the MLS in Las Vegas. And so like I said, grew up in this industry. My dad's in construction. That more times than not, a lot of buyers are really interested in how to save money when they purchase this home. So if they have energy efficient appliances, or it's a greenhouse, any of that information, use that terminology, because even if it's a little bit overpriced their budget, they can say, okay, in the long run, I can average saving this many thousands a year buying this house because it's energy efficient. So don't forget to use that terminology. And this is just a graph saying, it's a very important to somewhat important. So majority of every single one, from heating and cooling, energy efficient appliances, about 75% of all of it think it's actually important. So ListHub Basic, to review kind of what you can get through just the basic syndication, that's free, is exposure on more than 60 national websites with that extended network of up to 900 sites. You'll also be able to view publisher ratings, so you'll be able to see what other brokerages across the U.S. are saying about Zillow, Trulia, Home Finder, maybe even some of these publishers that you have no idea about. Automatic daily updates from the MLS. Like I said, we pull 4 times a day, so we're updating most of these sites 4 times a day, if not maybe once or twice. I know Zillow, Trulia, Homes.com, it's 4 times a day, clear across the board. Free leads via phone and email. Because we're sending your listings via ListHub, they have to send you those leads back to the provided email and phone number that you're giving us and that we get from the MLS. Agent login. If your brokerage already has an account and is syndicating your listings, you can create an agent login to see, 1, make sure all of your listings are in the dashboard, and 2, where your listings are going. And then you'll also get online technical support. Any questions on ListHub Basic?
Is there a fee back to the agent or agency on online technical support?
This is all free. So the only thing that we have to make sure is, 1, it has to start with the brokerage account. So if you do not, brokerage does not have an account, they have to sign up for this. For your broker, it is free as well, so your MLS is offering you. Once your broker creates, the managing broker creates that account, the agent at no cost can create this account as well to utilize these tools.
Did you say Century 21 is already networked in?
Century 21 is already
And
networked in.
Coldwell also, or?
Coldwell Banker is, any of those franchises that I said are already feeding their listings to all these websites, but through Crest.
Yep.
So not through the MLS. You can opt in to not go via Crest. And I know a lot of you guys are part of these franchises, so it doesn't hurt. But with Crest, like I'll use Coldwell Banker, I think they only syndicate to 20 publishers. So they're not syndicating to 40 plus other ones. A lot of brokers are like, you know what, I really want maximum exposure, so I'd rather syndicate my listings via the MLS. Another thing too is I'm going to talk about reporting here in a little bit to actually be able to view the traffic and all the leads that you're getting. If a Coldwell Banker broker actually was like, oh, I want to opt into these reports, Realtor.com wouldn't be on those reports, because Realtor.com gets their listings directly from the MLS, and we're connected with the MLS, so it'll make more sense when I talk about the reporting here in a little bit, but yes.
So if a broker is not part of ListHub, and ListHub pulls from the MLS, and one of the listings that the broker is not part of, does it go on Zillow and Trulia anyway, or it doesn't go on there at all, because you're pulling from the MLS, correct? Or
If they don't have an account, the only other way that their listings can get to Zillow or Trulia is if they have their own IDX feed that
so
goes to it, or they
you're
have.
only pulling from the MLS for the brokers that are actually signed up.
Correct.
If they're not signed up, you don't pull everything from MLS, you just pull all the ones of the brokers that are signed up.
Correct. We have all the data just like sitting on our server. So if your broker doesn't have the account and he signs up today, then we just flip the switch and say, oh, this broker with these 70 listings
Okay.
are going live, so let's put all these listings and they're gonna start syndicating it out. So, like I said, it's free, it's no cost. A lot of the time, and honestly, if you wanna say after I can look on my computer, a lot of the times your broker might have an account and just have never told you because they're sending their listings to Zillow and Trulia via us, and they just never, they fail to mention to you because they've been doing it. I mean, I had a broker at a presentation a few weeks ago that says, no, I don't have an account. And I was like, okay, we looked it up. He had an account since 2009. So he found out that his listings have been getting to these sites for the last 5-6 years via us, and he didn't even know it. So I want to talk into a little bit about the reporting. Things will kind of fall into place. Is we're sending your listings out for you. We're getting all the accurate data out there. Hopefully bringing traffic to you because it's all the accurate listings. But how do you track that data? Because we are the largest provider of listings to all these websites, in return they are sending us back all of those terabytes of consumer traffic. So where are these online consumers located? How many leads is your property getting? How many views is it getting? I'm gonna skip through this. We're gonna go over the competitive advantage with our ListHub reporting, and I'll go over all this in a few slides, but you're gonna need metrics including Realtor.com, Homes.com, Zillow, Trulia, all those publishers that I talked about. You'll get metrics of how many clicks you're getting, how many views you're getting on these sites. Then you'll also get some agent tools for sellers. You're gonna get an e-marketing flyer, which you can take into listing presentations that I'll go over in a bit. And automated individual listing reports, which is the report that you can see on the left right here, which I think is kind of the real meat behind our system, which I'll go over here in a few slides. So first you'll get your agent report. This is the executive summary of all the listings in your inventory. Does anyone advertise, do any marketing or anything on Zillow, Trulia, Realtor.com, any of the sites? So kind of about half of you. This is kind of a no-brainer to get these reports done because this is going to see if you're getting a return on your investment. This is actually going to show you what site is bringing you the most views and the most leads. So if you're spending money on Realtor.com and you look at this report and you see that Trulia and Zillow actually bring you more views and leads, then clearly your money is not well spent on Realtor.com.
How long is the broker locked in to, let's say he selects 20 sites, Zillow as an example, and he doesn't want to change, he doesn't like Zillow, wants to switch. Is he locked in for 6 months, a year?
Nope.
Or can you switch anytime?
He can switch anytime. The broker can, an agent can't individually do that. The broker has control. So for some reason, he's like, I don't want to go to a franchise because he syndicates to Century 21 too. It's like, I don't want my listings to be on Century 21 because I feel like they're competition. He can opt into not having
Can you
them.
counsel a broker on which sites are most prominent? in a
I
given area?
can, however, I would say 90%, if not more, of all my customers go to all of them. I very rarely will see accounts that will have like 20 publishers out of 62 that are offered. Majority of I mean, why not have maximum exposure? So, but it's just kind of up to the broker's preference. So, also too, in the middle, you're going to see kind of over time, depending how long you have these reports, over time, your listing inventory, views, and actual leads. So seeing, month to month, what are your, I'm sure as agents, you guys know exactly what months are your biggest months, probably springtime and summer. But really to see if things are seasonality, to look, in this case, okay, we actually have more listings in October, November, December, but we dropped down in views and leads, probably seasonality, but maybe the inventory that you had then, maybe you had lots and lands, or maybe you had a lot of properties that you felt were kind of overpriced for the market, for the time, for the neighborhood. So clearly your indication of that was probably right. So to use this data to your benefit, because every brokerage, every agent, every inventory is going to be completely different. And then below that is the top 3 property categories. So what top 3 listings in your inventory are the most sought out online? This is a summary, so we'll go into kind of more detail. This will be publisher comparison. So if your brokerage has an account and is syndicating their listings to all 62 publishers that are offered, say, you'll see all of these publishers right here, and you'll see we break it down by property view, click-through, email, and phone. A property view, if anyone has ever worked with Zillow or Trulia, a property view to them is if you just come up in a search. So you'll probably see more times than not, you have 10,000 views on your property or on your inventory. But really, that's not saying that a potential buyer is actually looking at your listing. It just comes up with 60 other, related properties. A property view to us is actually if I'm putting in a 3-bedroom, 3-bath home, attached garage, the zip code, et cetera, and I actually click on your property that's for sale, and I'm seeing the pictures, the remarks, your contact information, that's a property view to us. We feel like that's more important to track than anything else. Click through, if they, a lot of the times we have broker website redirect where we can redirect to your brokerage company website. So if they leave, say Zillow.com and goes to Century 21, Realtors Premier, and that's, the name of the brokerage, and they go to that website, we can track that as well. Of course, our emails are the inquiries, so it's when somebody's actually emailing you, the web capture lead form, I'm interested in this property, here's my contact information, please contact me. We can track that, and the phone will only be applicable to the mobile applications, which you'll probably see these numbers rise a lot, so. I love this report, and I don't know, I think I would use it to my benefit, but where your online consumers are located. In this sense, we break it down by state and city to really know, okay, well, I mean, I'm sure you guys know majority, probably 90+% of all of your potential buyers are in state, and probably within maybe a 30, 40, 50 mile radius from here. But sometimes you might be surprised where I was looking at just kind of the Encompass MLS, and besides this area in Rice Lake, there was, I think it was 12% of all leads come from this area, but I think it was 8 or 9% come from actually Minneapolis. Which, I mean, I know there's a difference, but only 3%, I mean, to know that that's where some of the market's coming from, it's actually interesting to find out why they're relocating. Is it job opportunities, universities, maybe just the cost of living might be here a little cheaper, you might get more bang for your buck, and then some people that want more land. So really be able to know where your market's going for, and for every potential buyer, there's a potential seller. So to know, okay, well, I'll drive, 20, 30, 40 minutes, clear across wherever, because I actually get a lot of leads and a lot of views from this area. Why not get my name out there and be kind of the relocation specialist, in this area. So use this to your benefit. Like I said, this is going to change for everyone's inventory. Your report might be completely different from your report. But it's just always interesting to know where your online consumers are located. Property categories, we break it down depending on your inventory. So if you have 20 different listings, we'll probably break it down 5, 6, 7 different ways depending on their pricing and size. But finding out exactly what listings your online consumers are most interested in. Not only by leads, or not only by the views, but the leads as well. I'll give you an example of how an agent uses to their benefit, but it's just a good idea to know, okay, this is what all my online consumers want, and this is how I should price properties as well. If you could see there is a good fine line between a 3-bedroom home that's between $100,000 to $200,000 and $200,000 to $300,000, and the $200,000 to $300,000 is getting no views, no leads, maybe you should advise your seller to say, if we stay within this or under this price bracket, we're actually going to probably get more views because more people will be interested in this property priced at this, so we can get it sold quicker. Does that make sense? So big data. What is it and what can we do with it? So with all that traffic, I was just showing you how do you benefit. Has anyone heard of the show House of Cards? If anyone watched the Golden Globes on Sunday, they actually made jokes of this, Tina Fey and stuff. So Netflix, what they did, I think, is actually genius. House of Cards was a show that was produced by BBC that was not popular at all, at least from what I've heard. What Netflix does, I am a Netflix subscriber. They track all the TV shows I watch. They know when I stop and start movies. They know what actors and actresses and producers and directors I like. And they know about that for every other single person that's a subscriber for Netflix. They use all that data, found out on average, or just kind of the general, what directors, actors, producers, storylines, genres do people like the most. So when they did that, they bought the rights to the House of Cards, and in return, it became the most watched show on Netflix. And you actually have to have an account to watch it. So I have an account, but I've had a lot of friends go ahead, buy the streaming account. I think it's like $10 a month to watch these shows. Orange is the New Black is another one. So it's just kind of interesting to see how Netflix uses that data. So how can we kind of relate that to the real estate industry? This is a quote that I think, I don't know, it's just really interesting because you can relate it to a lot of things. Is the goal is to become HBO faster than HBO can become us. HBO is just, TV shows on a network, and then Netflix came in and we're all TV shows, all movies, everything online. A lot of the time, I probably will say I watch majority of my TV shows online now, especially, but just with traveling and just my schedule. So it's really important you're seeing that online shift. So how do we use the data, how Netflix did, to be more competitive in this industry before other people can compete with us? So the average listing gets a half a lead per month from a publishing website. This is just average, for some of you it might not be at all, for some of you it might be. So agent number 1 has 89 listings, but they are getting a lot less than the average lead. Nearly 50% of their listing inventory is received 0 leads. I don't know if any of you guys can see this, but at the very bottom it says 70 to 80,000 lots and lands for sale. They have 41 in their listing count and they have gotten 0 leads on those listings. I don't know if this was, just due in part because maybe there was a guy who came in that says I have lots of land for sale and I want to get them sold and off, my hands and off my plate. So they gave it to maybe 2, 3, 4 different agents, and maybe one of the agents got, bombarded with all of them. I don't know. But what you can see in this case is the fact that 1, they're priced wrong, because if anyone is interested in buying the lots and lands to build gas station or whatever they want to, 70 to 80,000 is a little too steep for them. So 1, I would advise this agent to say maybe drop the price. But most importantly, this agent's wasting a lot of time, money, and effort on 41 listings that are bringing them no traffic. They should be spending the time and money to get 41 listings in the top 2, 3, 4, 5 categories. So that's what agent number 2 did. There's 15 listings. They're getting 3 times as many leads on their listing that the average listing gets. And you can see that in the top 2, 3, 4, actually 4 or 5, that's where the majority of their listing count lies. So this agent actually took these metrics and said, okay, what do my online consumers want? And that's what I'm gonna put in my inventory. So I constantly get these phone calls, I get these emails, my clients are happy with me because I get their house sold in a timely manner. So then they refer me to their neighbor, their best friend, their mom, their sister, their brother, etc., their work friends. So this is how this agent utilized this data to give them a competitive edge to really kind of know how this market's working, how it shifts month to month. You'll also get that e-marketing flyer I talked about to take into a listing presentation. These are gonna get a facelift here in about 3 to 4 weeks, and they look pretty awesome. I just saw them a couple weeks ago, a little bit more modern. But they'll be branded with your brokerage logo, and you can take this into a listing presentation and say, okay, if you list your property with us, I'm going to make sure that 1, we get your listing on these 60 plus publishing websites. The importance of actually making sure that your listings are on these sites, the importance of online marketing. Also telling them, okay, well, when we send your listing, if we get any price reductions, any photo updates, anything, it's gonna be accurately inputted on all these websites. So this is how I'm gonna get your house sold. And I'm gonna use metrics to know that we actually are getting traffic to your site or to your listing, and how we do that is with a seller report. These seller reports will be for each one of your listings. So if you have 10 listings in your inventory, each one of your listings will have this seller report. You'll see publisher A, B, and C. That will be filled in with Zillow, Trulia, Realtor.com, Homes.com, etc. We will educate the seller exactly how many views and click-throughs they're getting on their specific property on all these websites. I'm sure a lot of you get phone calls from your sellers saying, hey, how's my listing doing? Are we getting leads? Do you think people are interested? Do you think it's priced right? What's going on? Just tell me the status of my property, and sometimes you might not have a status update. But with this, you actually will be able to. So to actually tell them exactly how their listing is doing online. So if a listing goes on the market today and it's on the market for the next 6 months, for the life of the listing, they can get these reports. That bar graph, I think, is probably the best thing for you guys, because it's going to show traffic broken down week by week. So if over time you see that there is a decrease in traffic week by week, it's a probably good indication that people are losing interest and maybe it's time for a price reduction. Or if you thought all along it should have been priced lower, at least you have something to go into that conversation with, and have some kind of tangible thing to show them to say, this is why I think we should do a price reduction. Of course, if it's, there's spikes or it's increasing, whatever you're doing is working. If you're spending money advertising the home in the newspaper or online, or your preferred agent on Zillow, or you're doing multiple open houses, or you added more photos, or you put more information into the remarks and you see there's a spike that week, clearly you know that worked. And then another great thing too is if you do a price reduction and you see an increase or a spike in traffic, clearly you know that price reduction worked as well. We'll also showcase all the other sites we're publishing the listing at as well, so they're educated. Not only are they getting traffic from maybe 15 sites, but they're still on the 50 other sites that we offer as well. And then we can also educate them too on where their top 3 locations of where their online consumers are. And we'll also showcase how many inquiries this property has gotten since it's been on the market. So if they see that there's 5 inquiries and it's been on the market for a couple months, but they didn't pan out to actually, potential buyers, at least they know people are interested. Maybe these qualified buyers, or they weren't qualified, maybe they called, they were interested, but they just didn't love the house, they weren't qualified for it, they was too steep in their price, or, et cetera. So just educating them on that. The lack of communication is the #1 seller complaint. So with these reports, it's something that you guys don't even have to do to, educate them. You don't have to get this report together, we do it all for you, but to educate them on all this information. And you can automatically send this to your sellers once a month, twice a month, weekly, manually. You can print it off, mail it to them, however you want. You can email it to yourself first, take a look at it, and then forward it on. But it's a key of communication that you're making with this seller without even doing anything, like I said. All you have to do is put the seller first, last name, email address in there. We already have a pre-written message. We already have the template seller report that's gonna look like this. So it will say, your seller report or your property report for 2724 Burton Avenue is ready. Hey Sue, here's your listing. This is how much traffic you got. If you have any questions, give me a call, but I wanna kinda keep you up to date on how your listing is doing online. And then they get this, and so they have it. It's, a great benefit too. It's a great referral. I actually have a lot of clients say that their agents, or a lot of agents that say that their clients, once their house is sold, they actually think that these statistics and these metrics are really interesting, so they show their friends or neighbors, etc., or they'll reuse them if they, 5-10 years down the road are selling to either upgrade or, downgrade their property because their kids went off to college or vice versa. So
How often are those reports available, once a month or once a week, did you
we
say?
right now have it set up. You can either manually push it out if you want to. You can set it for the 1st of the month or the 1st and the 15th of the month. When we roll out the updated e-marketing flyers, which is about 3 weeks, we're gonna also do weekly as well. With that version 16.0 of our system, we're also going to email you when a new listing goes on the market in your inventory, so you don't have to remember, oh, okay, I have to sign into ListHub, go set up this automated report. We'll email you and we'll say, hey, your listing's now ready, it's in our dashboard, go set up the seller report to go out whenever you want to.
You have to do that for each and every one of the separate accounts
At the
that your company is contracted with, Zillow, Trulia. Do you have to do it separately or just
You have
one
to just
time?
do it one time on each listing. So if you guys have 20 listings, if you have 20 listings in your inventory right now, and you went in to buy this today, you'd have to go set up all 20 of them separately. They each take like less than a minute to do, but then after that, you don't have to touch them at all. So it's kind of the set it and forget it. I have a lot of agents that will upgrade to this, they'll go in there, they'll leave this presentation, they'll go send them out automatically or to be automated, and they won't do anything else. And they just kind of set it and forget it, and they know that their clients are getting these reports. So we can also add your photo, not only to the report that we send out to them, but we also have, kind of personalizing the consumer experience. A lot of the times there's a link at the bottom of the web page that usually says either your name as the listing agent or the brokerage. Usually if they click that link, it will redirect into this pre-made template that we have that will have all the information that the MLS does. So the remarks, the photos, your contact information. They can even click to call you instantly, schedule an appointment, they can email you, they can see your phone number, etc. We can add your photo to this as well, so if they print this off and they print off several other properties, they know who to call, they have a face to your name, and they have all your contact information as well. So if you guys, some of you I know probably skimmed through this, but if you see there was 2 different options or packages that we offer. It's the Pro and Pro Plus. The Pro and Pro Plus is the exact same thing, but the Pro Plus, you can add your agent website metrics. So if you guys have your own agent website that you've spent money on to build, to market, to brand your, yourself and your company, we can add that onto the reports as well to see how many views, clicks, leads, everything we're getting from your site as well. Anyone have any questions? I'm almost done, promise. So to just kind of give you the basic versus Pro and Pro Plus, with the basic you get the automatic syndication to over 60 publishers with the extended network of up to 900 sites. You get access to the online customer support and platform tools. You would think 2 weeks into 2014 I would change this, but Pro and Pro Plus you can measure your 2014 advertising decisions. You're gonna get complete reporting on every single listing. You're gonna access to automated client email reports. You're gonna get agents to post a photo on property detail page, which I went over, and you're gonna get phone support as well. And then with the Pro Plus, you'll get website metrics included in the ListHub reporting. So pricing. So everything I said for Pro Plus are broken down to $129 a year or $229 a year. The reason there's a difference is because Pro Plus, we actually have to have some hard cost in putting like kind of a Google Analytic tracker on your website to track all the views, click-throughs, leads, and everything. If you purchase today, it says special is available today only. I usually take it throughout the end of the week just because I know sometimes you want to kind of do a little bit more digging and investigating and educating yourself on the system, but buy 12 months and get 2 months free. So for 14 months of service at $129 or $229, that's a special that I'll offer you guys. So like I said, if your brokerage already has an account, you can upgrade or go to the Pro Plus today and instantly get the reports.
Is there a cost to the brokerage for any of this? Is it more, and then it's per, like does every agent have to subscribe to the Pro within a given office, or can some select to and some not?
Nope, the kind of question is, are there any costs to the broker? Is there any additional cost to other agents if one agent does this in the whole office? We can opt into many different ways. When the basic account is created, that's free on all levels, brokerage, agent, everything. We offer at a broker level the whole brokerage to buy these reports for every single agent in the office if they wish. That was my presentation I had earlier. I have some, brokerages that say I have 20 agents and I love this report and I want every single agent to have a competitive advantage. There's some brokers that don't want that, so they will say if the agents want to purchase it on their own, they can. So that's where we come in with these prices. But to answer your other question too, is if you opt into this today at $129, it does not cost the broker anything. You pay the $129 for the 14 months of service, and that's it. Other agents in your office don't have to do this either. It's completely up to you.
So there can be a broker package where they just buy it for the whole office?
Correct.
Is that what you're saying?
Mhm.
Okay.
And that's my question, and then is that a more reduced rate than the 129?
It's more cost efficient, like we break it down by the number of agents in the office. So if you have 1 to 5 agents, it's $39 a month or $390 for the whole year. So if you have more than 3 agents in the office, between 1 to 5 agents that say, I really want these reports, it's more cost efficient to actually opt in for the whole office. As the number grows, it's the same thing too. So if you have an office of 20 people and you say, I feel like a lot of my agents will want this, but if half of the agents want it, I want the whole office, would be silly for each agent to buy separately for a $129 because it's a lot cheaper to buy as a whole.
Okay.
And I have a handout too that's also on our website, listhub.com. We have brokerage agents, so you can see the pricing difference on it as well. Just some key takeaways. The internet is more important than ever, which I'm sure you guys already knew. Client communication is the cornerstone of your business. It's very important to be in constant communication with them. Just don't shoot in the dark with your advertising, dollars. If you know where you want to spend your money or are spending your money, make sure that you're getting a return on your investment. And then be ahead of the curve with ListHub data. Offer something to your clients that they can't get anywhere else. So that's all I have. If you guys have questions, feel free to ask, or if you want to talk to me separately, like I said, that presentation special I'll honor till Friday. So if you guys are interested, let me know. If you want to see if your brokerage has an account, I can definitely look that up for you as well. So
The reports that go to the agent versus the reports that go to the seller, are those, I couldn't see exactly from here, are they broke down by individual companies like Zillow, Trulia, et cetera? Are we getting the breakdown based on that, and is the seller also, or is there a
for the
difference?
agent report that you guys get, we break down how much traffic, views, click-throughs, leads, emails, all that stuff you're getting from each individual website, so you
Okay.
can see that. On the seller report that goes out to your clients, to the actual sellers, they see the breakdown as well of how many views and click-throughs they got from Zillow and Trulia. But they're not saying how many emails they got from Trulia, how many emails they got from Zillow, how many phone calls they got from this website. They're just seeing it encompassed together.
Okay.
Because we want to make it one report for them rather than like 6 pages that you guys get for your
Right.
reports too
Right.
as well.
Okay.
The sample, I know it's even small in this, but in your handout on the front page, or on the internal front page, you'll see the seller report. And then if you flip to the next one, you'll see that will be the agent report. So that will be kind of encompassing, and that will track all the listings in your inventory, not just individually too, so. Any other options.
Century 21 golden ruler.
If Century 21 Golden Ruler, you already get the reports. So, you have to log into your Golden Ruler, I think you go to century21something.com, you have the Golden Ruler option. The only thing with that, I think Century 21 only syndicates to like 13 or 15 websites, so you're not going to all 60. And then it's already blended with Century 21, like logos and everything like that, so.
Lauren,
Yes.
if the broker opts into this and the agents don't, does the broker receive, is it the basic program that all the listings are included in?
Yes.
Everything that the broker selects, purchases, but the individual reports, does he get one report, all listings within the company?
If
Or
the-
do you still send individual reports per agent?
Both.
within that?
If a broker, well, first, when a broker creates that basic account, every single listing in the office is syndicated. So an agent can't say, oh, I don't want my listings to go to Zillow, it's up to the brokers, because they legally own those listings. But when they upgrade to any of these reportings, or any of the reports, if the broker opts into it, they're buying all these seller reports for the entire office. So if I was a broker and I opted into these reports and I had 20 agents, and I bought it for all 20 of my agents, every single agent will have a seller report for every single their listing. Every agent would have those agent reports that I went over. And then the broker will also get a brokerage report to be able to see as an entirety of all my 20 agents in the office, how are they doing, how
To
is it?
get individual reports, then there's an additional fee above what the broker pays to get in? For individual reports per agent?
No, it's,
that
what I
the
just told you right here,
29?
that's for the agent, but the broker can opt into the reports for everything I told you,
Yeah.
to opt in for the whole office to get it, and he buys it in a bulk for everyone. Does that make sense? No?
Yeah, I'm just trying to, what do we think, why would we pay $129 per agent if the broker's already getting this stuff?
Well, what the broker's probably already getting is just the basic syndication.
Right.
If the broker says, I don't wanna spend a dime to my agents for these reports just because
So the broker would have to pay an additional fee if he wants a report per agent.
if he wants every agent clear across, like I have, majority of a lot of the people I work with
Yeah.
will say, I want every single agent in my office to have this. So they say, Lauren, I have 45 agents, how much is this? I'm in one MLS, I have one office, I have 45 agents, I want every agent to have these seller reports for all their listings. And I wanna be able to see all the traffic clear across the board of my entire office, and I want my brokerage report too. How much does that cost? And so I give them the cost of what that is. If that same broker was like, you know, it's a little too steep for me, I don't wanna spend that money, so I'll just let my agents, there might be some agents that say, I don't want these reports because I just don't want them, because I don't wanna spend $129 a year. Totally up to their decision, but there's some agents in the office that say, hey, these are great. If I can send these to my sellers, I don't have to do anything, it's a key of communication, and they can opt in for $129.
One question though for you, who owns ListHub?
Moving. They own like Realtor.com, they own,
They own Realtor.com?
yep, so Realtor.com is kind of like our cousin in our business industry. So, Move owns like 20 different real estate companies, like Lead Router, they own, there's a lot of, I mean, pretty much anything you ever need to use, like they have a DocuSign that they own too, like, they have a lot of stuff, so.
The answer to that question you just asked for me.
Yes,
Could you explain the e-marketing flyers a little bit
the
better?
e-marketing flyers, I don't think there's a sample on this. An e-marketing flyer is what you can take into a listing presentation to get a listing. A lot of the times we go into a listing presentation and, you know, talk to the seller and say, this is what we can do for your property, this is what we can list it at. But to actually give them a handout to say, okay, if you list your property with me, I'm going to get your listing on all these websites. And here's the importance of why we need to make sure your listing is on these sites. And, oh, I opted into this because I'm also gonna show you reporting to say, this is how much traffic you're getting on each site. And I can actually see week by week if we're gaining or losing traffic to know if we price the house properly. To really educate them on the competitive advantage that you have against maybe the four other agents that they're meeting with. To say, if you list your house with me, this is how I differentiate, so.
Okay.
Did I answer your question?
Yep.
We also have samples too on listhub.com on our front page on the website. We also have samples of all this as well. So I know some of you couldn't see the screen, so if you wanna look at that later today, you can see those samples on there as well. Any other questions? I don't think there's anything I didn't hit, so. I mean, really the importance of everything is, I mean, we're here to educate you guys, because a lot of people don't know that you have this readily available. You know, just remember that it starts with your broker account. You know, if your broker doesn't syndicate listings and you actually have to hand enter your listings to Zillow or Trulia or pay some other, you know, third-party real estate website to get your listings to just Zillow and Trulia, there's an easier, effortless way to get your listings to not only Zillow and Trulia, but over 60 other publishing websites, and you don't have to do a thing except enter the listings into the MLS and to know that they're accurate. I would say that's probably one of the key takeaways, just to know that. And then again, like I said, we have these options to track all this traffic online to really be able to use this to have a competitive advantage. And we offer it on 2 different levels, you know, the broker package and the agent package. And, you know, we don't wanna just offer the broker package, because if there's an agent in the office that's so jazzed about these reports and wants these because they just wanna be ahead of the curve and be kind of, I mean, everyone wants analytics, everyone wants data, but they can't get them unless they pay for it. And usually if you pay Zillow a couple $100, you get it, you pay Trulia, but it's like all adds up and it becomes a lot more, and then you have 15 different reports that you have to send out. So if you can have one report that encompasses all this information, and you have a brokerage that doesn't wanna pay for the whole office, you know, we want the agents to have a say in this too, so we give the agents the option as well, so. If you think your broker would be interested in this on a broker level for all of it, I have broker handouts as well that I can